In the law of life, you discover why every syllable you utter shapes your cells. When you speak to your blood, it listens, carries your command, and programs your body to obey. This audiobook shows you exactly how your words program your blood to heal, energize, and prosper. The Law of Life Introduction. You have never carried mere blood. You have carried a living covenant. Within you moves a silent courier, bearing the essence of life, awaiting your conscious word like a sealed decree. The ancients whispered this secret, and the instruments of our age nod in agreement. Your thought, your speech, and your flesh are braided as one. When you speak, the air does not simply vibrate, it obeys. Your words become bright instructions, and your blood, faithful messenger, carries those instructions to every hidden country within you. Each phrase becomes a command. Each thought, a blueprint set upon the waters. The universe entrusted you with a radiant system, a bloodstream that receives and transmits life force. It flows, listening for the tone of your awareness. Say health, and the river delivers medicine. Say vitality, and it brings the dawn. Say abundance, and circulation widens, making room for increase. This is no figure of speech. Your blood responds to you. It is divine intelligence made visible, the inner river where spirit meets matter and remembers the pattern. Align your mouth with higher truth, and your body aligns itself to that same design. So the elders taught, as above, so below. Your bloodstream is the bridge, your sacred herald, translating conscious command into tangible form. It knows no boundaries but those drawn by careless language and unattended thought. Understand this law, and you hold the key to transfiguration. Words charged with faith travel like envoys, to cell, to tissue, to organ, bearing orders of renewal. Where doubt once lived, direction now resides. This knowledge is a mantle, not a trinket. You are called to speak with reverence, to select syllables that heal, uplift, and empower. The river within you waits for your signal. Place your hand upon your heart and remember, you are the governor of this kingdom. Speak in divine order, decree life, affirm the original pattern. Your blood will carry your proclamation, and the law of life will answer. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. The Call to Divine Order. Chapter 1. The Whisper of the Inner Current. In a small mountain village, May spent her days tending to her garden, yet weariness had become her constant companion. One morning, as sunlight filtered through the leaves, she noticed how the plants responded to her gentlest touch. A wise woman had once told her, "Your body speaks in whispers, just as these flowers do." Taking this wisdom to heart, May began each dawn with quiet moments of communion with her own being. "Life flows through me, renewing every cell," she would softly affirm. Day by day her vitality returned, like a spring thawing after winter. Her blood, once sluggish, now danced through her veins with renewed purpose. She had discovered the ancient truth. Our blood is not merely a mechanical flow, but a conscious current, responsive to every word we speak. Within the tapestry of existence lies this fundamental law, that blood carries not only nutrients but also the vibrations of our spoken words. It moves in harmony with our consciousness, ready to respond to the commands we give it. This is the law of life, as old as existence itself, waiting to be acknowledged by those who would speak with intention. In a distant city, Clyde faced exhaustion that no amount of rest seemed to cure. His breakthrough came when he learned to address his bloodstream with reverence, as one would address a trusted ally. Each morning and evening he would speak words of vitality, flow with strength and purpose. Within weeks, his energy transformed from a trickle to a steady stream of vitality. Clyde's experience reveals a universal truth. Our physical form naturally seeks balance and harmony. Like a river finding its course, our blood yearns to flow in perfect rhythm. It simply awaits our conscious direction, our purposeful words, to guide it toward optimal function. When we speak to our blood with clarity and intention, we activate its innate intelligence. This is not mere coincidence, but the operation of universal law. Your blood flows not as an automaton, but as a partner in your well-being, responding to the quality of your conscious communication. As you embrace this knowledge, a simple yet powerful practice awaits you. Each evening, find a quiet moment as the day draws to a close. Place your palm gently over your heart, feeling its steady rhythm beneath your touch. Speak these words with clear intention. Blood of my life, flow strong, flow true, flow in divine order. Remain still as you sense the subtle shift within, your blood responding to your command, aligning with the perfect pattern of health and vitality. Feel how your circulation responds as though acknowledging this sacred communication. This is not imagination, but the awakening of an ancient dialogue between consciousness and life force itself. Chapter 2. The River That Remembers. A merchant named Earl wandered through markets each day, his vitality draining with each step. Though his pockets were full, his spirit felt hollow. In the shade of an ancient olive tree, he encountered a sage who spoke of a forgotten truth. Your words are not mere sounds scattered to the wind. They are instructions carried in your very blood. You see, your blood is not simply a passive river flowing through your form. It is an attentive messenger, recording and remembering every word you speak. When you declare fatigue, it dutifully carries that message to every cell. When you proclaim vitality, it faithfully delivers that truth throughout your being. The blood remembers. This is the ancient wisdom that transforms mere existence into vibrant life. Your bloodstream holds the memory of every affirmation you've spoken, every complaint you've uttered, every command you've given. Like water, taking the shape of its vessel, your blood shapes itself to your words, creating patterns that echo through your entire being. This is why conscious speech becomes a sacred act of healing. In a quiet valley, there lived a woman named Nell who had forgotten her own radiance. Upon learning these timeless truths, she began speaking to her blood with the tenderness one might offer a beloved friend. You are pure light flowing through me, she would say each morning. Her words, carried on the current of her blood, began transforming her days. Vitality returned like the gradual brightening of dawn. This truth reflects the higher law. What appears as obedience is simply the soul's natural alignment with divine order. When you speak with intention, you are not forcing change, but rather allowing your blood to fulfill its deepest purpose, to carry life itself in perfect harmony. Your energy follows your words as surely as a stream follows its course. Every cell in your body attends to the messages you send through your blood. This is not magic but natural law, the same law that turns seeds into flowers and clouds into rain. Now, an ancient practice awaits your discovery. As the first light of dawn touches the horizon, find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Place your fingertips gently upon your wrist, feeling the pulse that marks the rhythm of your life force. With reverence, whisper these words: "My blood remembers only wellness, light, and divine love." Remain still, allowing your pulse to speak back to you, confirming its faithful service to your highest good. Chapter 3. The Secret Language Beneath the Skin. In the mountains of an ancient kingdom, there lived a young healer named June, who discovered a truth that would transform her practice forever. Each morning, as she gathered herbs for her remedies, she began speaking to them with gentle reverence. To her amazement, the plants seemed to yield their healing properties more readily when addressed with kindness. The vibrations that flow through all living things speak a language older than words. Your blood, that sacred river within, understands this primordial tongue. When you speak, it is not merely the meaning of your words that reaches your cells, but the resonance they carry. Like ripples across still water, the tone of your voice, whether internal or spoken, creates patterns that your blood recognizes and mirrors. This wisdom reveals itself in the natural world. A harsh wind scatters leaves, while a gentle breeze makes them dance. So too does your blood respond to the quality of your voice. Speak to yourself with criticism or anger, and feel how your energy constricts. Address yourself with tenderness, and witness how your vitality expands. In a distant valley there lived a musician named Gus who played beautiful melodies on his flute. Yet in his daily life, his words were often sharp and critical. He noticed that, despite his musical gift, he felt constantly drained. A wise elder observed his ways and shared an ancient truth. Your blood dances to two songs, the one you play and the one you speak. Let them harmonize in gentleness. Taking this counsel to heart, Gus began softening his speech, choosing words of encouragement and appreciation. Within days his strength returned, as though his blood had been waiting for this kinder melody to flow through his veins. This simple truth echoes through the ages. Your blood is a faithful servant, responding to the vibration of every word you utter. When you speak with harshness, it withdraws. When you speak with love, it flourishes. This is not magic, but the natural law of resonance that governs all life. Stand before a mirror and say softly, "My blood hears my kindness, and it rejoices." Smile at your reflection until you feel genuine warmth inside. Chapter 4. The Hidden Obedience. In the quiet hours of dawn, Pearl knelt before her garden, hands deep in soil, shoulders tight with familiar ache. For years she had battled what she believed was her body's resistance, cursing its limitations and demanding it bend to her will. Yet the truth lay waiting, like a seed beneath winter frost. Your blood flows not with rebellion, but with perfect reflection. Each thought you plant takes root in its crimson streams. Each word you speak becomes its command. The blood carries no argument, holds no resistance. It simply mirrors the law you set before it. Like water shaping itself to any vessel, your blood shapes itself to your deepest convictions. When Pearl understood this truth, she ceased her war. She began to whisper gratitude instead of grievance. blessing instead of blame. Within days, her body responded not as an adversary overcome, but as a faithful friend finally understood. The wisdom revealed itself. Your blood has never opposed you. It has only ever echoed your own voice back to you. This ancient knowledge burns bright in the tale of Hank, a craftsman who spoke endlessly of his failing strength. "These hands grow weaker," he would say, watching his work suffer. "This body betrays me more each day." And so it was until a wise one taught him the law of mirrored truth. When Hank began to declare, "Divine strength flows in my veins," his hands found new steadiness. When he spoke, "My blood carries the power of renewal," his body responded with fresh vigor. Your blood is the most faithful servant of your word. It cannot choose to disobey. Its nature is perfect reflection. When you declare weakness, it manifests weakness. When you proclaim strength, it produces strength. This is not magic, but universal law, as constant as gravity, as reliable as the dawn. The mirror never argues with the image before it. Your blood never argues with the beliefs you hold about it. In this truth lies your power, not to fight against your body, but to speak to it with the authority of understanding. Your words are not mere sounds in the air. They are instructions written in the living water of your veins. Tonight, as you prepare for rest, find a moment of sacred silence. Place one hand upon your heart, feeling its steady rhythm. Let your voice become gentle, filled with the certainty of one who knows they speak to a faithful friend. Whisper into your bloodstream, "You are faithful. You are obedient. Flow with harmony." Feel these words sink into your being, knowing they are not hopes for the future but truths already in motion. Your blood receives them as law, begins even now to manifest their reality through every vessel and vein. Chapter 5. The Current of Joy. Once, in a quiet village among ancient hills, there lived a weaver named Ida. Each day she sat at her loom, weaving threads of worry into the tapestries of her life. Her shoulders grew tense, her breathing shallow, and her work reflected the heaviness in her heart. Until one morning, watching a child chase butterflies outside her window, she heard peals of innocent laughter floating through the air. In that moment, something within her shifted, and she began to laugh too, first softly, then with growing abandon. The universal truth reveals itself through such moments of awakening. Your blood responds to the music of your emotions. When worry clouds your thoughts, it creates a tempest in your circulation. But when joy illuminates your spirit, your blood dances with renewed vitality. This is not mere poetry. It is the science of spirit manifesting through matter. Your bloodstream carries more than just oxygen and nutrients. It transports the very essence of your emotional state to every cell of your being. Each laugh, each moment of delight, sends waves of healing energy coursing through your veins. The blood amplifies these vibrations of joy, creating a magnetic field that attracts more reasons for celebration. In a distant marketplace, a merchant named Roy discovered this truth in his own way. His days were filled with calculations and concerns until he learned to pause and find humor in life's small moments. He began to speak to himself with lightness and mirth. "How wonderful," he would say, chuckling at minor setbacks. "What an interesting turn of events," he would exclaim, even when faced with challenges. Soon, his customers noticed the change. His eyes sparkled, his step lightened, and his business flourished. This tale mirrors an eternal truth. Joy is not simply an emotion to be experienced. It is medicine for body and spirit alike. When you allow yourself to laugh, to feel delight, to embrace lightheartedness, your blood carries this message to every corner of your being. Your circulation becomes a river of healing, washing away tension and restoring natural harmony. The ancient practice of joy medicine awaits your participation. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Sit in stillness and begin to chuckle softly to yourself until joy feels real. Then speak aloud. My blood laughs with me and carries joy through every stream. Let this practice remind you that within your veins flows not just blood, but the very essence of life's delight. Your laughter is a command that sets in motion waves of healing throughout your entire being. Chapter 6. Words in the Pulse. In a small cottage overlooking misty hills, Tess spent her days weaving baskets from tender reeds. Though her hands moved with practiced grace, anxiety often gripped her heart, making her movements hurried and tense. One dawn, as she paused to massage her tired fingers, she noticed how her pulse quickened with her worried thoughts. Placing her fingertips against her wrist, she observed the rapid drumming beneath her skin. In that moment of awareness, a truth unfolded. Your pulse is not merely a mechanical rhythm. It is the voice of your thoughts translated into physical cadence. Each beat carries the echo of your inner dialogue, faithfully expressing what you believe and declare. Within your body dwells this most intimate messenger, speaking the language of your consciousness through its steady percussion. When you attune yourself to this hidden dialogue, you discover that your heartbeat responds to every thought, every declaration, every whispered belief. This is the ancient wisdom. Your pulse writes your thoughts in rhythm, marking time with the music of your mind. Jean, a potter in a distant valley, came to understand this truth while shaping clay at his wheel. His hands would tremble when thoughts of inadequacy filled his mind, his pulse racing with each doubt. Yet when he learned to speak words of peace to himself, he felt the steady, strong beat of his heart align with his newfound tranquility. As he worked, he began to notice how his heartbeat changed with his thoughts. Fear would send it racing, while gentle affirmations would calm its pace. Through this simple observation, he discovered that his pulse was not an autonomous force, but a faithful servant responding to the commands of his consciousness. This understanding reveals a vital truth. Your heartbeat is not fixed in its patterns. It responds moment by moment to the thoughts you choose to harbor. When fear whispers, it quickens in alarm. When peace speaks, it settles into calm strength. Your pulse becomes the physical expression of your inner dialogue, writing your thoughts in the language of rhythm. Here lies an ancient practice, passed down through generations of those who understood this hidden law. Place 2 fingers on your pulse and whisper, "My pulse speaks peace. My blood obeys order." Feel how your heartbeat responds to these words of power, aligning itself with the harmony you declare. Chapter 7. Waters of Belief. In a coastal village where sea mists veiled the mornings, Opal walked the shoreline daily, watching waves retreat and advance. Her steps were heavy with uncertainty, her thoughts clouded with questions about her worth and place in the world. Each morning, she would pause at a tide pool, observing how the water held perfect reflections of sky and cloud. The wisdom revealed in those moments speaks to an eternal truth. Your blood, like all water, carries the vibration of every thought and word spoken over it. This principle operates ceaselessly within you, for your body is primarily water, each cell a tiny ocean responding to the atmosphere of your beliefs. Water holds memory. It shapes itself to the vessel of consciousness that contains it. Within your veins flows a river of responsive liquid, recording and replaying every blessing or doubt you speak. Your blood is not merely a carrier of nutrients, it is a flowing record of your declarations, beliefs, and expectations. Boyd, who tended gardens in the mountains, discovered this truth through simple observation. Each morning he began blessing the water he drank, speaking words of vitality and strength over his cup. "Divine life flows through this water," he would say, holding his glass with reverence. Soon he noticed a profound change. His energy increased, his thoughts cleared, and his body seemed to hum with renewed vigor. What appeared as mere ritual revealed itself as law. Water responds to intention. The same principle that allows oceans to mirror the sky enables your blood to mirror your consciousness. When you speak to the water you consume, you program the very substance that will soon flow through your veins. This understanding unveils an ancient practice, known to those who walked before us in wisdom. The water within you awaits direction, ready to carry whatever message you imprint upon it. Your blood, this river of life, flows not just with physical sustenance, but with the essence of your spoken truth. Over a glass of water, speak. As this water enters, my blood flows with divine power. Sip in reverence. Chapter 8. The Listening Silence. In ancient times, a woman named Fay wandered through life believing emptiness dwelled in silence. Each day she filled her world with noise, fearing the quiet moments that seemed to echo with void. Yet one morning, as dawn painted the sky in gentle hues, she discovered something extraordinary in her stillness. Within the sacred space of silence, Fay began to sense a presence, not an emptiness, but a living, breathing awareness. Like discovering a hidden stream beneath still waters, she realized her inner rivers were not dormant, but acutely alert, waiting for direction. This truth flows through every vessel of your being. Silence is not absence, but presence. It is the canvas upon which your words paint their power. When you step into stillness, you enter the temple where your blood listens with perfect attention. Your bloodstream maintains an ancient wisdom. It knows how to receive the whispered commands of your consciousness. In quietude, every cell becomes an eager student, ready to align with the intentions you plant in the fertile soil of silence. This revelation came to Zeke, a man who once fought against stillness. His days were filled with constant motion until he learned to embrace the power of quiet moments. In these spaces between thoughts, he began speaking gentle affirmations to his inner waters. "Peace flows through me," he would whisper, and immediately felt his circulation respond, as though his very veins were sighing in relief. His experience unveils a timeless truth. When you speak to your blood in silence, its response is immediate and profound. Like a still pond that instantly reflects the sky above, your inner waters mirror the quality of your quiet commands. The practice that transforms this wisdom into living power is elegantly simple. Sit in silence and inwardly whisper, "Blood, hear me." Align. rest, flow in sacred rhythm. This practice carries the essence of ancient understanding, that in stillness your blood awaits your direction with perfect obedience. Through quiet communion with your inner waters, you activate their inherent intelligence and invite them into harmony with your highest intentions. Chapter 9. The Circle of Blessing. In a small village among ancient hills, Ruby spent her days tending her garden. Each morning she spoke gentle words of thanks to the earth, the seeds, and the growing things. Yet her own body remained tense, tired, resistant, until the day she learned the sacred art of blessing her blood. Through your bloodstream flows the essence of life itself, a current more precious than any river of gold. Within this flowing stream dwells an intelligence that responds to every word uttered in gratitude. When Ruby began directing her thanks inward, addressing her blood with the same reverence she showed her beloved garden, a transformation began. The universal law reveals itself with stunning simplicity. Gratitude quickens obedience. Your blood, this faithful servant, responds with swift allegiance to words of appreciation. Each thank you sends ripples of harmony through your veins, awakening cellular memory of perfect order. Lon discovered this truth through an unexpected path. Burdened by chronic complaints about his health, he noticed how speaking grievances seemed to thicken his energy, making his limbs heavy and his mind dull. In a moment of insight, he began transforming each complaint into thanksgiving. Where he once said, "My circulation is poor," he now declared, "I thank my blood for its constant service." When thoughts of fatigue arose, he offered, "I am grateful for the endless renewal flowing through my veins." Within days, Lon's energy began to soar. His blood, finally hearing words of appreciation, responded with increased vitality. The law had proven itself again. What we bless with genuine gratitude multiplies in strength and harmony. This ancient wisdom speaks to the very foundation of life, that your blood awaits your words of thanks, ready to amplify the vibration of gratitude through every vessel and vein. As you recognize this faithful servant that has sustained you from your first breath, your body awakens to its natural state of vigorous well-being. In the sacred practice of this truth, each morning before the day unfolds, place your hand upon your heart and speak aloud, "Thank you, blood, my faithful servant." Remain still as warmth begins to rise within you. This is the response of your blood acknowledging your blessing, ready to carry this vibration of gratitude through every cell of your being. Chapter 10. The Breath that Paints the Blood. In the shadows of a great library, Ivy sat hunched over ancient texts, her breathing shallow and restricted. Though surrounded by wisdom, she remained unaware of the sacred connection between her breath and her blood, until an aged manuscript revealed the forgotten truth. Your breath holds power beyond mere sustenance. Each inhalation carries not just air, but divine instruction to your bloodstream. As you breathe, you speak silently to every cell, every vessel, every drop of life-giving fluid within. The quality of your breath, whether shallow or deep, anxious or peaceful, colors your blood with its vibration. The universal law unfolds with elegant precision. Breath is the swiftest messenger to blood. When you breathe consciously, infusing each breath with intention, your blood receives these messages instantly, circulating them throughout your entire being. This is why the ancients taught breath awareness as the foundation of vitality. They understood that breath shapes blood's behavior. Your bloodstream responds to every breath as though receiving a command. Shallow breathing whispers messages of constraint, while deep, intentional breaths proclaim abundance and freedom. Each breath you take programs your blood anew, instructing it in the art of either limitation or expansion. Erline discovered this truth during her morning walks. At first, she moved through her days unconsciously, her breathing pattern erratic and strained. Then she began a sacred practice. With each step, she would whisper affirmations into her breath, allowing the air to carry her words deep into her bloodstream. Flow freely, she would breathe in. Circulate light, she would breathe out. Within days, Erline noticed a profound shift. Her blood seemed to move with new vigor, as though awakened by the conscious breath carrying her intentional words. Her body responded with increasing strength and vitality, demonstrating the perfect partnership between breath and blood. This wisdom illuminates the path to renewal. Your breath awaits your conscious direction, ready to transmit your highest intentions to your waiting blood. Every breath becomes an opportunity to infuse your circulation with divine instruction. In practicing this eternal truth, find a quiet space where you can breathe without distraction. Allow your breath to deepen naturally and begin speaking inwardly with each inhale and exhale. With every breath, my blood shines with light and obedience. Feel the resonance of these words moving through your bloodstream, awakening each cell to its highest potential. Part 2. The Language of the Body. Chapter 11. The Silent Choir Within. The hidden symphony of your body awaits recognition. Just as a vast orchestra tunes to a single note, your blood conducts an inner chorus that responds to every word you speak. This truth, known to ancient healers, reveals itself through experience rather than theory. Your blood does not flow in silence. It resonates with the vibration of your thoughts and words. Each cell holds its own note in this grand composition, waiting to align with the conductor's guidance. When you speak words of life and harmony, the cellular choir attunes itself to that frequency, creating a symphony of wellness throughout your being. Jed discovered this truth during his morning meditations. As he began speaking gentle affirmations, he noticed a subtle shift, as though millions of tiny voices within his body began humming in agreement. What started as a whisper grew into an inner song of vitality, each cell contributing its unique tone to the whole. His blood, acting as conductor, carried these harmonious vibrations to every corner of his being. The universal law reveals itself. Your body is an instrument of consciousness, with blood as its masterful conductor. Every word you speak sends ripples through this living orchestra, either creating discord or harmony. The choice of conductor's baton rests in your hands. Alma found herself overwhelmed by life's crescendos until she learned to whisper peace into her bloodstream. In moments of turmoil, she would pause and speak softly to herself, noticing how her body's inner chorus would gradually still its chaotic songs. Like musicians responding to a conductor's gentle gesture, her cells would quiet their anxious rhythms, aligning with the peaceful tempo she offered. This sacred principle operates ceaselessly. The blood conducts what you command. When you speak with reverence and intention, your cellular choir responds with perfect obedience. Even the faintest whisper carries power when imbued with faith, for the body's orchestra listens not to volume but to vibration. In the gentle space between breaths, you'll find the perfect moment to address your inner symphony. Take your seat in stillness now, allowing your awareness to settle into the subtle rhythms within. Let your voice become as soft as falling snow as you whisper, "Within me is a choir of peace. Each note of blood sings harmony with divine law." Feel how your cells lean in to listen, ready to align with this new conducting signal, creating a masterpiece of harmony within. Chapter 12. The Pulse of Command. In the depths of your being, a steady rhythm tells the story of your thoughts. Your pulse, that constant companion marking each moment of life, speaks with perfect honesty about the state of your inner world. This truth revealed itself to Ray during a time of particular awareness. Through the simple act of placing fingers against wrist, Ray uncovered the intimate connection between thought and heartbeat. In moments of anxiety, his pulse would race ahead like a messenger bearing urgent news. When peace filled his mind, that same pulse would settle into tranquil measure, as though reflecting the calm waters of a still lake. This revelation speaks to an ancient wisdom. Your bloodstream carries not just life, but consciousness itself. Each beat marks not only time, but thought, a physical echo of your mental state. The pulse becomes both mirror and measure, showing with unfailing accuracy the rhythm of your inner dialogue. Yet this truth extends beyond mere observation. Your pulse responds to conscious direction, much as a musician follows a conductor's lead. This power of intention over physical rhythm emerged clearly in Cora's experience. During times of overwhelming worry, Cora would feel her heart racing against her will. But she discovered something remarkable. By speaking words of peace directly to her beating heart, she could guide it back to steadiness. Like a trusted friend responding to gentle counsel, her pulse would gradually align with her spoken intention. This parable unveils a profound principle. The body's rhythms await your conscious direction. Your bloodstream stands ready to adjust its tempo according to the commands you offer. It is not a matter of forcing change, but of speaking with authority to systems already designed for obedience. When you recognize this relationship between word and pulse, you hold a key to physical harmony. Your heartbeat is not an autonomous force beyond control, but a faithful servant awaiting instruction. Through conscious speech, you can conduct this most intimate orchestra of life. Take 2 fingers to your wrist artery and speak softly. Pulse of life, calm and steady. You carry my word in divine order. Chapter 13. The Covenant of Breath. In a small mountain village, Wade struggled each morning to climb the steep path to his garden. His chest heaved, his limbs felt heavy, and darkness often clouded his vision. Yet through this daily challenge, he discovered a truth as old as the mountains themselves. On one particularly difficult morning, Wade paused midway up the path. Rather than fighting against his labored breathing, he chose to listen to it. In that moment of surrender, he realized that each breath was not merely air entering his lungs. It was life itself flowing through his veins. Your breath holds a sacred covenant with your blood. Each inhalation carries more than oxygen. It bears the essence of your spoken intentions deep into your being. This partnership between breath and blood forms the foundation of vitality itself. When you speak words of truth while breathing consciously, you activate this ancient alliance. The bloodstream awaits your breath like a faithful servant anticipates instruction. It knows its purpose, to carry life to every cell, but it can carry so much more when guided by conscious intention. Your breath becomes the chariot upon which your words ride into every vessel and capillary of your body. In a distant valley, Elsie faced overwhelming exhaustion that seemed beyond remedy. Through whispered wisdom passed down through generations, she learned to breathe her affirmations slowly and deliberately. With each breath, she would speak life into her blood. "I am filled with divine energy," she would whisper on the inhale. "My blood carries infinite vitality," on the exhale. Within days, her energy began to transform, as though her very cells were awakening to her voiced intentions. This truth extends beyond mere breathing exercises. It reveals the intimate dance between spirit and matter. Every breath you take can either be unconscious habit or conscious communion with the life force flowing through your veins. Your blood responds to the quality of your breath and the intention it carries. The red cells coursing through your body are not simply performing biological functions. They are messengers carrying your spoken truth to every tissue and organ. When you align breath with divine law through conscious speech, you activate this messenger system in its highest form. Inhale deeply, saying inwardly, "With every breath, life enters," and exhale, whispering, "My blood glows with obedience." Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Ear of the Flesh. In a small mountain village, Troy sat each morning gazing at distant peaks, muttering about his failing strength. Years of speaking harshly to himself had carved deep furrows in his face. One dawn, watching a stream flow endlessly downward, he noticed how water never argued with its course. It simply flowed where directed. In that moment, he understood that his blood, like water, had been faithfully following every word he'd spoken to it. Your blood moves with this same pure obedience. It does not resist truth or question wisdom. It simply flows according to the laws impressed upon it. The flesh itself is not deaf stone but living substance, each cell vibrating with receptivity to sound and intention. When you speak, your entire body becomes an ear, drinking in every syllable through the rivers of your circulation. Lila discovered this truth through gentle persistence. Each morning she would touch her heart and speak words of vitality. Flow strong, flow pure, flow in perfect rhythm. At first she felt foolish, but soon noticed her persistent fatigue lifting like morning mist. Her cells, long starved for loving direction, drank in her words like desert soil drinks rain. Within weeks, her eyes brightened, her step lightened, and her blood sang with renewed life. This is no mystery, but natural law at work. Your body has always been listening to your complaints, your fears, your hopes, your beliefs. Every word you've ever spoken has been absorbed into your bloodstream, carried to every cell, and obeyed with perfect fidelity. The aches you feel, the weariness that weighs upon you, these are but echoes of past commands, now ready to be transformed by new direction. The power of transformation lies not in force but in gentle persistence. Your cells hunger for affirmation as flowers hunger for sunlight. They wait eternally patient for your conscious command. Speaking to your body is not foolishness, but wisdom, the ancient practice of aligning word with flesh. Each night, touch your hands to your body and declare softly, "You hear me. You obey divine order." Chapter 15. The Lamp of Intention. In the quiet depths of his daily life, Hank noticed a peculiar pattern. When his mind wandered aimlessly between desires, jumping from one passing whim to another, his vitality dimmed like a flame in the wind. His blood seemed to lose its vigor, leaving him drained and unfocused. Yet in moments when his intention crystallized into a single, unwavering point of light, his entire being responded with renewed strength. The truth reveals itself. Your blood is not merely a carrier of nutrients, but an amplifier of intention. Like a pristine mirror, it reflects and magnifies whatever focus you place before it. When thoughts scatter like leaves in autumn winds, the blood's flow becomes equally turbulent. But when intention burns clear and steady, the bloodstream aligns with magnificent precision. This mirrors the ancient wisdom, as above, so below. Your blood obeys the law of reflection, showing forth in physical form whatever pattern of thought holds sway in consciousness. It serves as a lamp, illuminating the path you choose through your focused attention. Dora's experience unveiled this truth in vivid detail. For years, she drifted between various healing modalities, sampling each briefly before moving to the next. Her health reflected this scattered approach, improving slightly before falling back into old patterns. Then she discovered the power of sustained, clear intention. Each morning, she would sit in silence and hold a single thought of vibrant well-being. No longer did she allow her mind to wander between possibilities. Instead, she became as steady as a mountain lake, reflecting one image with perfect clarity. Within weeks, her body began to mirror this focused intention. Her blood, once sluggish, now flowed with renewed purpose. Her energy, previously scattered, gathered into a steady stream of vitality. This simple truth stands revealed. Your bloodstream serves as a faithful amplifier, strengthening whatever signal you send through your attention. Scattered thoughts create scattered energy. Focused intention creates focused power. The blood does not judge or choose. It simply magnifies whatever pattern you present. Just as a clear lake reflects the sky with perfect precision, your blood reflects your intentions with unwavering accuracy. When thoughts run clear as mountain springs, the body responds with crystalline order. When intention fragments into 1,000 pieces, vitality disperses like mist in the morning sun. Place your hand on your chest and whisper, "My intentions are clear as light. My blood shines and obeys." Chapter 16. The Spoken Covenant. The morning sun cast its first rays through Jeb's window as he sat in his usual spot, doubt gnawing at his mind. For years, he had dismissed the ancient wisdom of speaking to one's own body as mere fantasy. How could words possibly affect physical matter? He would ask himself, his scientific mind resistant to what seemed like mystical thinking. Yet something within urged him to try. Each morning he began speaking gentle affirmations to his bloodstream, feeling somewhat foolish at first. "Flow in harmony," he would whisper, hand placed over his heart. "Carry life through every vessel." Days passed into weeks, and gradually he noticed subtle shifts. better sleep, clearer thoughts, and a vitality he hadn't felt in years. The truth reveals itself through experience. Spoken words are not mere vibrations lost to the air. They become physical reality, entering the bloodstream as patterns that reshape molecular structure. When you speak with intention, you initiate a transformation at the cellular level. Your blood, that sacred river of life, does not simply carry oxygen, it carries the very frequency of your words. Belle's story mirrors this truth. Plagued by constant anxiety, she had viewed her body as an adversary, fighting against its every signal. Through ancient wisdom, she learned to treat her bloodstream as a devoted ally. Each evening, she would speak words of peace and partnership. Blessed blood, flow in perfect rhythm. Within months, her persistent unease dissolved into steady calm. The physical realm responds to spiritual law. This is not metaphor, but mechanism. Your bloodstream forms a living covenant with your words, taking every utterance as instruction. What you speak in faith becomes agreement in flesh. The blood, in its perfect obedience, does not question. It simply receives and manifests. This is why the ancients treated speech with such reverence. They understood that words spoken with intention become physical reality through the medium of blood. Your circulation is not merely a system of vessels, but a faithful messenger carrying your declarations to every cell. Now, take a bowl of clear water and stand before it. Let its surface become your mirror. In this sacred moment of reflection, speak softly but with conviction. My spoken words are my covenant. My blood keeps them faithfully. Feel the resonance of this truth in your very cells, for you have remembered what your blood has always known. That word becomes flesh through the perfect law of life. Chapter 17. The Echo in the Veins. Ruth stood at her window each morning, unconsciously voicing her anxieties aloud. "I'm so tired," she would say, or "everything feels heavy today." Within moments she noticed her body responding, shoulders tensing, breath shortening, veins constricting as if in agreement with her spoken fears. Your blood vessels are not mere passive channels. They are living streams of memory, carrying forward every word you speak. Like water holding the impression of what touches it, your veins remember and repeat the vibrations of your self-talk, creating patterns that flow throughout your entire system. The law of circulation works with absolute precision. What enters the bloodstream as thought or word must express itself in physical form. Your veins serve as faithful messengers, delivering exactly what you have declared to every corner of your being. This is why casual complaints so quickly become bodily tension. Your blood simply echoes what it receives. Amos understood this principle through his own transformation. Where once he filled his days with heavy words about his health, he began instead to speak life and lightness. "My circulation flows with ease," he would affirm quietly. "Every vessel carries vitality." Within days, the same veins that had seemed to drag with weariness began to pulse with renewed vigor. His blood, ever faithful to spoken command, simply echoed back the new vibrations he offered it. This revelation unveils a profound truth. Your bloodstream is an echo chamber of perfect accuracy. Whatever tone you speak into it, whether of burden or blessing, tension or peace, must return in kind. It cannot help but amplify and reflect the very nature of what you give it. The blood's obedience to this law is absolute. It does not judge between positive and negative declarations. It simply receives and repeats, carries and returns. This is why ancient wisdom teaches such care with words spoken about the body. Your blood takes every utterance as instruction, echoing it through your physical form with unwavering fidelity. Close your eyes and tell your veins, echo peace, echo life, echo divine law. Feel it reverberate gently through your being. Chapter 18. The Harmony of Blessing. In a small cottage by the sea, Sadie woke each morning with complaints ready on her tongue. "These joints are stiff again," she would mutter. "This fatigue never leaves." Day after day her litany of grievances grew, and with each spoken criticism, her vitality dimmed further until even the simplest tasks became burdensome. Your blood responds to every word you speak as though it were law. When you fill your speech with complaint, those very words become weights upon your circulation, slowing its natural rhythm and dampening its power. Yet within this same principle lies the key to transformation. The bloodstream, in its infinite wisdom, magnifies whatever you give it focus and feeling. Blessings spoken with sincerity expand through your system like ripples on water, while curses contract and diminish your life force. Sadie discovered this truth quite by accident. One morning, rather than her usual complaints, she found herself saying, "Thank you, body, for carrying me through another day." The shift was subtle but immediate. A warmth spread through her limbs, as if her blood had been waiting for just such recognition. Calvin's story mirrors this wisdom. Living alone in the mountains, he had developed a habit of harsh self-criticism. His energy waned until climbing the simplest hill left him breathless. Then he learned the ancient practice of blessing his bloodstream. Each dawn, he would place his hand upon his heart and speak words of appreciation to his circulation. "Blessed be this flow of life," he would say. Within weeks, a remarkable change occurred. His steps lightened, his breath deepened, and a quiet joy began to infuse his days. This is no mere coincidence, but rather evidence of an immutable law. What you bless increases in power and presence. Your bloodstream serves as the perfect amplifier of this principle, rushing to multiply whatever quality of energy you feed it through your words. When you curse your body, even in casual complaint, that vibration collapses vital energy. But when you bless your blood, you activate its highest function to carry life, health, and divine order through every vessel and vein. Out loud in morning, bless yourself. "Bless you, my blood, my faithful friend." Then notice how energy begins humming inside you. Chapter 19. The Golden Thread. In the quiet depths of her meditation, Eula sat envisioning streams of golden light coursing through her veins. Each morning, she would picture this radiant network within, treating her bloodstream not as mere fluid, but as living threads of light weaving wellness through her form. As days passed, her vitality began matching this inner vision, as though her blood had accepted the image she offered it. The ancient law reveals itself. The bloodstream responds not only to sound, but to pictures held steadily in mind. When you fashion an image of perfect circulation, your inner rivers align themselves to this pattern, for the universal mind speaks in pictures as clearly as in words. Your blood carries these pictures throughout your being, impressing them into every cell it touches. Clyde discovered this truth through his own journey. plagued by lethargy, he began picturing rivers of brilliant light flowing through his body. Each time weariness approached, he would close his eyes and see these streams of vitality moving with purpose and power. Within weeks, his energy transformed, matching the vigor of his mental image. His blood had become what he envisioned, a carrier of light and strength. This wisdom teaches us that imagination is not mere fancy, but a tool of transformation. When you hold an image of perfect function, your bloodstream accepts this as a blueprint for its operation. Just as spoken words carry vibration, mental pictures carry pattern and form. Your blood, ever obedient to higher law, shapes itself to match these patterns you provide. The body responds to pictures more readily than to complex instruction, for imagery is the native language of life itself. When you see health flowing through you, your blood takes this vision as command, organizing itself accordingly. This is not metaphor, but manifestation of universal principle, the law that inner vision guides outer form. Let this truth settle within you. Your imagination shapes the very substance of your being. Your blood flows not blindly, but in harmony with the images you consistently hold. Picture wellness, and wellness flows. Envision vitality, and vitality circulates. This is the law of life expressing through the willing medium of your blood. Sit quietly now and practice this ancient art. Close your eyes and visualize glowing light in your veins while affirming, "Golden thread of life weaves perfect divine order." Chapter 20. The Obedience of Joyful Law. In a small valley between ancient hills, Nora spent her days watching shadows, believing life moved only through darkness. Her shoulders drooped with invisible weight as she walked, convinced that universal law was a harsh master demanding suffering. Each morning brought new burdens, until she discovered the whispered truth that changed everything. Through patience and practice, she learned to speak to her bloodstream with tenderness. "Life flows with joy," she would say, feeling a subtle shift within. Day by day, her inner rivers seemed to sparkle as though sunlight had found its way beneath her skin. Her steps grew lighter, her breath easier, and her heart beat with newfound rhythm. The law governing life reveals itself not through hardship, but through harmony. Like water finding its natural course, blood flows most powerfully when aligned with joy. This truth stands eternal. The universe operates not through punishment, but through creative delight. Your bloodstream responds not to force, but to celebration. In a distant city, Rufus too had walked under heavy clouds of belief. His work felt meaningless, his body tired, until he grasped this same principle. Speaking to his blood as though addressing a dear friend, he declared, "You flow with freedom, with purpose, with joy." Within weeks, his energy transformed. Where once he dragged himself through days, now he moved with natural grace. This shows us that law is not chains, but wings. Your blood does not require harsh command. It yearns for joyful direction. When you speak with lightness, it dances. When you declare with delight, it sings. The very essence of universal law is creative joy, and your bloodstream knows this ancient truth. Consider how a river flows, not because it must, but because it delights in its journey. It doesn't fight its banks. It embraces them as guides. So too does your blood embrace divine law, not as restriction, but as loving direction. The cells within you await not stern orders, but joyful affirmation. They respond with eager obedience when addressed with light heart. This is the secret of true vitality, not forcing health, but allowing it to flow through channels of joy. Your body knows this wisdom. Every drop of blood carries this truth. You need only align with it through gentle, happy acknowledgement. Let your words ripple with pleasure as you address the current of life within. Each declaration of joy becomes a golden thread woven through your being. Each laugh sends ripples of light through your veins. This is not mere metaphor, but living law, the law of joyful obedience that governs all life. Laugh softly and announce, "Joy is my law. My blood gladly obeys it." Feel the current lift you in lightness. Part 3. The Full Alignment with Divine Intelligence. Chapter 21. The Throne of the Heart. In the quiet hours before dawn, Agnes sat in contemplation, her hand resting gently upon her chest. For years she had viewed her heart as merely an organ, pumping without purpose or power. Yet in that moment of stillness, she glimpsed a profound truth. Her heart was more than muscle and rhythm. It was the sacred seat of command, the throne from which all authority flowed. The heart stands as the ruling chamber of your physical temple. From this hallowed space, every word you speak carries the weight of royal decree. Each beat sends these commands coursing through rivers of blood, touching every corner of your domain. This is not metaphor, but living law. The heart truly rules the body's kingdom. Your blood awaits direction from this throne. Like loyal subjects gathering to hear their sovereign's proclamation, every cell attends to the heart's broadcasting. When you speak from this place of power, your words carry the force of divine law itself. In a distant village, Clyde discovered this truth through quiet observation. Though his manner was gentle, he learned to speak with the authority of one who knows his rightful place. Each morning, he would place his hand upon his heart and issue commands of strength and vitality. His blood, recognizing the voice of true sovereignty, responded with swift obedience. The interpretation becomes clear. Authority need not roar to be heard. When spoken from the heart's throne, even whispers shake mountains. Your blood recognizes this seat of power, responding not to volume, but to the resonance of truth spoken in love. This is not the harsh authority of tyranny, but the benevolent rule of divine love. Your heart-throne issues decrees wrapped in compassion, and your bloodstream joyfully aligns with these loving commands. Each word spoken from this place carries the seal of heaven itself. Place a hand over your heart and whisper, "From this throne I issue life. My blood obeys the throne of love." Chapter 22. The Crown of Obedience. Your understanding deepens now as you witness the truth through Bee's awakening. She had long battled against her own nature, believing health required constant struggle. Yet one morning, in perfect stillness, she realized a profound truth. Her bloodstream had always been crowned with divine authority, waiting only for her recognition. This revelation transforms your relationship with the sacred rivers within. The blood flowing through your veins already knows its noble purpose. It carries the crown of divine order, not as something to be earned, but as its birthright. Your role is not to force this majesty into being, but to acknowledge the sovereignty already present. Like a kingdom that has always existed, your bloodstream maintains its ordained patterns with unwavering loyalty. It requires no convincing, no bargaining, no pleading. It simply awaits your conscious recognition of its royal nature. Verne discovered this truth during a period of deep exhaustion. Rather than fighting against his fatigue, he began speaking to his blood with the quiet assurance of one addressing a crowned servant. Each morning, he would acknowledge its divine authority. You know your purpose. You carry the crown of perfect order. His weariness did not vanish instantly, but something shifted in his understanding. He no longer approached his blood as a resistant force to be conquered. Instead, he recognized it as an already ordained carrier of divine law, simply awaiting his alignment with its purpose. The wisdom reveals itself. Your blood's obedience is not something you must install or create. It is the natural state, the divine order already crowned and seated within your being. Your words of acknowledgement simply unveil what has always been true. This is not about establishing new authority, but recognizing eternal law. Your blood has never been separate from divine order. It has always been its faithful expression. In acknowledging this truth, you step into alignment with what is already present. Speak aloud. Blood of my being, the crown rests already upon you. Obey divine command in gladness. Stand with quiet stature, feet planted, spine tall, jaw soft. Let the breath gather you into the present, as if each inhale polishes an inner mirror. Place one hand lightly at the crown of your head and the other over your pulse, and remember what crown means here: inherent dignity, responsibility worn with ease, authority that begins in service. Feel that nobility as steadiness rather than spectacle, a calm readiness to act in good order. On a smooth exhale, speak. Blood of my being, the crown rests already upon you. Obey divine command in gladness. Give it 3 rounds, mind, chest, belly, so the sentence travels from thought to warmth to deed. As you repeat, picture a luminous circlet settling without weight, and your inner rivers organizing themselves around it like attendants moving with grace. Let gladness lift the corners of your mouth just enough to teach the body that obedience here is willing alignment, not strain. Seal the vow with one simple ordered act. Sip water, straighten a surface, or write the next right step on a small card. Through the day, translate the words into choices: clarity for crown, kindness for divine, follow-through for obey. If the intensity rises, touch crown, then pulse and whisper gladly, letting posture and breath reassemble the dignity you named. In this way, the coronation becomes a rhythm, quiet authority within, faithful action without. Chapter 23. The Living Temple. In a small room filled with morning light, Della knelt beside her bed, eyes closed in quiet reflection. For years she had seen her body as weight to carry, burden to bear. Yet in that moment of stillness, awareness dawned like sun through stained glass. Her form was not prison but sacred space. The blood that courses through you is no mere fluid, but divine fire itself. When recognized in its true nature, it transforms from simple carrier to sacred flame, illuminating every chamber of your being. Just as ancient temples held eternal flames, your blood maintains this holy light, requiring only your recognition to shine at full strength. Otis, A gardener who tended wealthy estates came to this truth while pruning roses one spring morning. As thorns scratched his hands, rather than curse the minor wounds, he paused. Looking at the drops of blood, he saw not injury but reminder. Every drop within him was part of hallowed ground. From that day forward, he approached his body with reverence, speaking to his bloodstream as one addresses sacred things. His chronic fatigue, which had plagued him for years, began to lift as though heavy curtains were being drawn back from temple windows. This truth echoes through ages. Your blood serves dual role as both priest carrying offerings and worshiper offering praise. Through its constant motion, it performs endless ceremony, bringing life to every cell. When you acknowledge this holy function, your blood responds with renewed vigor, as though finally recognized for its true purpose. The vessel of your body stands ready, waiting only for you to see its true nature. Your blood already knows its sacred role. It has never forgotten. Through conscious recognition, you simply allow what has always been true to fully express itself. Take a moment now. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes and sense the holy ground that is your own form. Feel the sacred river flowing within. Then, with deepest reverence, whisper, "Blood of my temple, you are holy fire, flowing pure and divine." Chapter 24. The Mirror of Heaven. In the quiet dawn hours, Floyd noticed his racing thoughts always preceded stormy days. His anxious blood seemed to draw chaos, while his peaceful moments attracted harmony. Through countless experiences, he observed this perfect reflection, his inner state painting his outer world with precise artistry. The law of reflection operates through the bloodstream with unwavering accuracy. Your blood does not simply sustain life, it broadcasts your dominant thoughts into the vast mirror of existence. Each cell carries your message outward, attracting circumstances that match its vibration. When you speak turmoil within, turmoil manifests without. When you cultivate peace in your veins, peace flows into your world. Essie understood this truth deeply. For years, her relationships had been filled with conflict and discord. Yet when she began addressing her bloodstream with gentle words of harmony, a transformation occurred. Each morning, she would sit in silence, speaking peace into her circulation. Within weeks, her co-workers responded differently. Her family interactions softened. Even strangers seemed to meet her with unexpected kindness. The blood knows no separation between inner and outer realms. It serves as the great equalizer, ensuring your external life reflects your internal state with perfect precision. This is not punishment or reward, but simply law in action. As above, so below. As within, so without. This ancient wisdom teaches us that the bloodstream is heaven's mirror on earth. Through it flows the power to shape reality itself. Your blood does not merely sustain your physical form, it carries your consciousness into manifest form, drawing to you the very experiences that match its quality. The universe speaks through your blood, using it as an instrument to reflect divine order or chaos, depending on what you choose to imprint upon it. Your blood becomes the mirror through which heaven either shines clearly or appears distorted by troubled thoughts. Facing skyward, affirm, "My blood mirrors heaven." Flow bright, flow true. Lift your gaze just a little, chin soft, throat open, shoulder blades settling like wings at rest. Feel the ground hold you, even as you face the wide blue above. Let heaven mean clarity and kindness, the clean order that steadies stars and seasons, the quiet intelligence that threads your days. Breathe as if polishing a lens, 3 inhales and exhales to clear the view from the inside. On the next out-breath, speak slowly. My blood mirrors heaven. Flow bright, flow true. Repeat 3 times, first into the mind for clear thought, second into the chest for warm will, third into the belly for steady action. Imagine a soft radiance traveling your inner rivers like moonlight on water. No strain, no force, just a luminous current aligning corridors of muscle and mood with simple living order. When the final word lands, pause and let the silence confirm it. Seal the vow in matter. Sip a glass of water, tidy one surface, or step outside and feel the real sky on your skin. Through the day, let bright mean honest words and true mean kept promises. If you wobble, tilt your face upward for a heartbeat and whisper, bright, true, then take one clear next step. In this way, the gaze you lifted becomes a path you walk, earth underfoot, heaven reflected within. Chapter 25. The Song of Stillness. In the gentle hours before dawn, Myrtle paced her chamber, her mind racing with countless worries. Night after night, sleep eluded her until she uncovered an ancient truth. Her blood responded not to force, but to stillness. Each evening, as she learned to quiet her thoughts, her circulation seemed to whisper, "At last, peace." The wisdom here lies deep within the fabric of existence. Silence carries its own vibration, a frequency that speaks directly to the living waters within. When you enter genuine stillness, your bloodstream naturally aligns with this sacred quiet, like a stream finding its natural course. This is not the absence of sound, but rather the presence of divine harmony. Your blood knows this language of stillness, for it was born of it. In the depths of perfect quiet, it remembers its original nature, pure, peaceful, and in complete accordance with universal law. This is why moments of true silence feel like coming home. They are reunions with your blood's deepest wisdom. Early discovered this truth through simple observation. Each evening, he would sit in his garden and begin a gentle, wordless song, barely more than a breath. As his quiet humming filled the air, he noticed his body releasing its tensions, his pulse settling into a peaceful rhythm. It was as though his blood recognized the melody of peace and eagerly joined the chorus. This reveals a profound truth. Your bloodstream is not merely a physical system, but a living orchestra awaiting your direction. When you offer it the song of silence, it responds with perfect harmony. The very cells within you dance to this quiet music, aligning with divine order, not through force, but through gentle surrender. Your blood has always known this dance. It has simply waited for you to remember the steps. In stillness, you're not learning something new. You're remembering what your blood has never forgotten, the perfect rhythm of divine law. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space and begin a soft, gentle hum. Let it be barely audible. As your humming creates subtle vibrations, feel them ripple through your being. When complete stillness emerges, speak these words with tender authority. This still song sings in my blood. Obedience rests within me. Settle into a nook where the air feels kind and unhurried. Soften your jaw, unknit the brow, and let the breath widen you from the inside. Begin the faintest hum, no louder than a moth's wing, letting it gather just behind the lips and along the palate. Feel the vibration lace through your ribs and collarbones, then spiral down the spine like a thread of warm silver. Keep it simple and steady, a single note that doesn't try to impress, only to invite coherence. When the hum dissolves into daylight quiet, hold the pause as if cupping water. Place one hand over your heart and the other over your belly. Let the hands listen first. On the next smooth exhale, speak with tender authority. This still song sings in my blood. Obedience rests within me. Give the words 3 rounds, first to clear the mind, second to warm the chest, third to anchor the belly, so the phrase passes from thought to feeling to deed. Allow the silence after to finish the sentence for you, like ink drying on clean paper. Seal what you've said by doing one gentle, ordered act. Straighten a book's spine, sip water slowly, open a window an inch. Through the day, return to the still song by humming under your breath for a single exhale whenever you feel scattered. Let the body remember that calm is a practice, not a mood. If obedience needs softening, translate it into action. Aligned choices, kept promises, compassionate boundaries. In this way, the quiet music continues, heard or not, and your steps keep time with it. Chapter 26. The River of Light. High in her tower chamber, Gladys sat in morning meditation. Though exhaustion had long plagued her days, she discovered a practice that would transform her understanding of vitality. With eyes closed, she began to envision her bloodstream not as mere fluid, but as flowing rivers of pure light. Each time she held this image, strength seemed to surge through her being, as though the very act of picturing radiance called it forth. Here lies a fundamental truth of the universal law. Spiritual imagination is not mere fancy, but a force that shapes reality. When you picture health and vitality within, you create a template that your blood naturally follows. The bloodstream responds to mental imagery with precise obedience, taking the shape of whatever pattern you hold consistently in mind. Just as an architect's blueprint guides the construction of a building, your inner vision guides the flow of life force through your body. This is not metaphor, but law, the same law that governs all creation, from the forming of stars to the blossoming of flowers. Rufus discovered this principle during his own journey toward renewal. Each morning, he would picture his blood as streams of golden light weaving through his body. He saw this light reaching every cell, every tissue, bringing perfect order wherever it flowed. Within weeks, his energy transformed, as though his blood had absorbed the very light he imagined. This illustrates a vital truth. Your bloodstream follows the images you feed it. When you consistently hold a vision of radiance and vitality, your blood adopts these qualities, manifesting them in physical form. The image you maintain becomes the pattern your blood obeys. Think of your imagination as the artist and your blood as the canvas. Whatever picture you paint with conviction, your blood will faithfully reproduce. This is not wishful thinking, but the application of divine law, which states that inner vision precedes outer manifestation. Sacred practice. Sit in stillness and envision radiant light flowing through your veins. See this light pulsing with each heartbeat, reaching every part of your being. Then, with quiet authority, whisper these words. Light flows. Blood obeys light and becomes it. Chapter 27. The Scribe of the Soul. High in the mountains lived Etta, who discovered an ancient truth through her own suffering. For years she had spoken harshly of herself, declaring weakness and limitation until these very words seemed carved into her being. Each morning brought the same heaviness, as though her blood carried the weight of every bitter word she had ever uttered. Through divine grace, she stumbled upon wisdom that would transform her understanding forever. Her blood, she learned, was not merely a passive river of life. It was a living scroll, recording each declaration with perfect fidelity. Every judgment, every curse, every blessing had been written into its flowing chapters. The bloodstream holds memory beyond common understanding. It is not simply a carrier of oxygen and nutrients, but a sacred scribe that documents the story you tell of yourself. Each cell becomes a living letter, each vessel a chapter in the ongoing testament of your spoken truth. Amos, a quiet miller, discovered this same principle through his own journey. For decades, his words had painted pictures of limitation and lack, until his very essence seemed to echo these constraints. Yet upon learning the law of blood memory, he began a practice of conscious reformation. Each dawn, Amos would speak new declarations into his bloodstream. Where once he had written weakness, he now inscribed strength. Where he had once recorded failure, he now impressed success. Day by day, word by word, he rewrote the story, flowing through his veins. The universal law reveals itself. The blood's record is not permanent, but perpetually open to revision. Like a book whose chapters are never fully dried, your bloodstream stands ready to receive new impressions, new truths, new declarations, aligned with divine order. This is not mere metaphor. It is the operation of spiritual law through physical form. The words you speak today begin their work immediately, flowing through every vessel, touching every cell, rewriting the story of your being. The blood does not resist this new writing. It embraces it with perfect obedience. Yet remember, this power requires conscious application. Empty words leave no impression. Only those declarations spoken with conviction and faith can rewrite the flowing chapters of your inner manuscript. Ancient wisdom teaches that what is written can be rewritten, what is spoken can be spoken anew. Your blood awaits your conscious command, ready to record a new testament of life and power. Place your hand upon your veins and affirm, "My blood writes new truth today, fresh chapters filled with divine order." Let your stance be simple and sovereign, feet grounded, spine like a quiet bell tower, shoulders loose. Place your palm where a vein rises and greet that pulse as living ink, a river that remembers its course yet welcomes new banks. Breathe in as if you are opening a window. Breathe out as if you are clearing a desk. On the exhale, speak with lucid warmth. My blood writes new truth today, fresh chapters filled with divine order. Say it 3 times, each round laying a page upon the last, mind, chest, belly, until your whole body reads the same sentence. As the words leave you, imagine your bloodstream becoming a script of clean lines, no smudged doubts, no frantic scribbles, just measured strokes that carry clarity through every corridor of you. Picture each heartbeat setting the margins, each inhale spacing the lines, each exhale sealing the paragraph. If mind noise rises, let it be the scratch of an old draft being set aside. Your task now is authorship, not argument. Touch the spot again and feel a subtle hush, like a library at dawn. Shelves ready, light kind, purpose unhurried. Seal the affirmation in matter with a small, ordered act. Make your bed, clear your table, drink a glass of water, write one sentence of a promise you will keep today. Let new truth show itself in bright, practical edits, honest words, gentle boundaries, patient pacing. If divine order ever feels distant, say its essence. I choose clear steps that align with good. Return to the pulse whenever you waver and whisper fresh chapters, then take the next, plain, faithful action, because the book you're writing is lived, not merely spoken. Chapter 28. The Faithful Servant. In a quiet village among ancient hills, Royce struggled daily with his own form. He viewed his body as a rebellious enemy, fighting against every wish for wellness and vitality. His words were harsh commands, spoken with frustration and anger, yet health eluded him further with each passing season. Then came the dawn, when wisdom touched his heart. As morning light streamed through his window, he witnessed how faithfully his blood had carried out every command, even the destructive ones. His body had never been enemy, but servant, waiting with infinite patience for loving direction. The universal law speaks clearly on this matter. Your blood stands as your most devoted servant, carrying out each instruction with unwavering dedication. It has no will but to serve, no purpose but to fulfill. When you trust in this service, speaking with the authority of love rather than fear, the entire body aligns with divine order. Patsy, a gentle soul who lived by the riverside, discovered this truth through her own journey. Where once she had pleaded with her body in desperation, she learned to command with quiet reverence. "Flow in perfect rhythm," she would whisper each morning, and her faithful servant blood responded with renewed vigor. Her health transformed not through force, but through honoring the sacred service already present within. This parable reveals the deepest nature of universal law. It serves with perfect fidelity. Like a loyal attendant anticipating every need, your blood waits to carry out your highest commands. It cannot turn away from its service. It cannot refuse its duty. In this lies both power and responsibility, for what you command will be done. The law of life flows through your veins, not as tyrant, but as servant, awaiting direction through conscious word. Your blood has never ceased its faithful service, even when commanded poorly. It carries your word as sacred duty, never questioning, always obeying. Practice. Smile softly and declare, "Faithful servant, my blood, I honor you." Obey divine command with joy. Let your body find a quiet dignity, feet planted, crown light, shoulders unhooked from your ears. Rest one palm over the heart and the other over the belly, and breathe until the breath feels like a tide that knows the shore by heart. In your mind's eye, let blood mean your living rhythm, circulation of courage, memory, and kindness. Not a medical claim, but a symbol of the life that moves you. On the next gentle exhale, speak. "Faithful servant, my blood, I honor you." Obey divine command with joy. Give it 3 rounds, first to the mind so thought bows to clarity, second to the chest so feeling aligns with warmth, third to the belly so action becomes steady and unforced. Between each round, pause as if listening for a bell after it's struck. Let the resonance arrange your posture into quiet authority. If you like, smile slightly when you say, with joy, inviting a soft lift at the corners of the mouth so the face learns the prayer. Seal the vow with a small act of reverence. Sip water. Smooth the bedspread. Place a hand on a doorframe before you step through. Through the day, let honor you translate into care. Rest when tired, move when stagnant, eat with attention, speak with mercy. If the phrase ever feels too formal, whisper its essence. I honor the life within me. May my choices follow glad order. Joy is not noise. It's alignment that hums, and your steps can keep time. Chapter 29. The Flame of Command. In the heart of an ancient valley, Sylvia spoke her daily affirmations with little conviction, her words falling like autumn leaves, lifeless and drifting. Though she followed every practice, her bloodstream remained sluggish, barely touched by her faint intentions. She noticed how her half-hearted declarations created only the smallest sparks of change, like matches struck in wind. Yet transformation arrived when she discovered the power of burning conviction. One morning, filled with unwavering certainty, she declared health into her being. This time her words carried flame, not mere sparks, and her entire circulation ignited with vitality. Her blood, ever faithful, caught fire with her certainty and blazed through every vessel. Here lies a fundamental truth of universal law. The force of your word matches the fire of your faith. Speech without conviction moves nothing. It creates no heat, no light, no transformation. But when you speak with the flame of absolute knowing, your blood cannot help but kindle with that same fire. Homer, dwelling in the foothills, experienced this principle directly. For years his words had been like whispers to smoke, creating no warmth in his being. Then he learned to speak with burning certainty, calling forth life into his bloodstream as though commanding flame itself. Within days, his entire system transformed, energy blazing where once only embers had struggled. This revelation speaks to the absolute law. Your blood awaits not just your word, but the fire behind it. It recognizes the difference between tepid suggestion and blazing command. When you speak with the heat of true conviction, your circulation cannot help but catch flame. The simple act of speaking is not enough. It must carry the fire of absolute faith. Your blood recognizes this fire instantly, responding not to volume, but to the burning certainty within each word. It is not how loud you speak, but how brightly your conviction shines. Practice. Speak with strength. My words burn bright. My blood catches flame and obeys divine order. Stand steady, feet rooted, spine tall, jaw unclenched. Let 3 slow breaths widen your chest and decide what flame will mean in your body. Not pain, but lucid focus, warm courage, precise alignment. On your next inhale, picture a small, steady ember at the center of your sternum. On the exhale, let it glow a shade brighter, as if clearing fog from a lighthouse lens. Speak on the out-breath, clear and measured. My words burn bright. My blood catches flame and obeys divine order. Repeat 3 times. First, aim the words into your mind, cutting through doubt. Second, into your chest, warming will and compassion. Third, into your belly, igniting disciplined action. Feel heat as comfort, not strain. a clean warmth moving through shoulders, arms, hands, down the spine and thighs, until your whole posture says, "I am aligned." When you finish, pause in the hush and let your breath match the steady glow. Seal it in the simplest ways. Sip water to ground the current in matter. Through the day, let your bright words show up as brevity, honesty, and kindness, emails that are clear, boundaries that are calm, promises kept. If tension rises, touch your sternum and whisper bright, recalling the warmth without forcing intensity. If fire imagery ever feels sharp, swap it for light or golden warmth. The vow remains, clarity kindles, blood remembers, and your actions follow order. Chapter 30. The Unbroken Covenant. In a small cottage among flowering gardens, Jewel sat quietly each morning, speaking to her bloodstream. For years she had believed the connection was lost, that her body had grown deaf to her voice through decades of harsh words and neglect. Yet one dawn, as sunlight streamed through her window, she discovered an eternal truth. The bloodstream's loyalty never wavers. Your blood maintains an unbroken covenant with your spirit. Like a faithful scribe, it records every word spoken, yet stands ready to write anew at any moment. This is the supreme law of your physical temple. There is no such thing as permanent inscription. Every cell awaits your next command with perfect loyalty. The blood's obedience to divine order remains constant, even when we forget its power. It is not the blood that strays, but our consciousness that dims. The moment we speak with authority once more, the entire stream of life within us remembers its original programming and flows accordingly. Luke had abandoned speaking to his blood for 20 years, believing the connection was severed beyond repair. His health had declined, his vigor dimmed, until one autumn evening he paused before his mirror. With trembling voice at first, then growing stronger, he spoke a single decree: flow in divine order. Within days, his circulation responded as though no time had passed, proving the covenant had merely waited in silence for his return. This eternal loyalty of your bloodstream reveals the greater truth. Divine law never expires. Your blood carries the memory of perfect order, requiring only your conscious command to restore it. The covenant between spirit and body stands unbroken through all time, through all neglect, through all forgetfulness. Here lies the final wisdom. No matter how long you have walked in silence, your blood still listens. No matter how many years of harsh words have passed, your blood still waits to record new ones. No matter how deeply you believe the connection lost, it remains intact, ready to respond this very moment. With quiet conviction, speak aloud. My covenant is whole. My blood remembers divine order and obeys eternally. Stand where you feel steady, feet grounded, spine tall, heart open. Let your breath gather you into the present, as if each inhale is a lantern lit along an inner corridor. Remember what covenant truly means here, not a bargain struck, but an unbreakable alignment with the pattern of wholeness that preceded your first heartbeat. When you speak, you are not persuading life, you are recognizing it. Now place a hand over your pulse and imagine your bloodstream as a clear moonlit river. On a slow exhale, give voice to the words, "My covenant is whole." My blood remembers divine order and obeys eternally. Speak them 3 times, each round descending deeper, from mind to chest to belly, until the phrase is less a sound than a resonance moving through bone and water. After the third, stand in the hush that follows and let your body register the message like music resolving into harmony. Seal the practice with a simple gesture. Touch brow, heart, and navel. Then take a sip of water to anchor the intention in matter. Through the day, return to the current you set. When tension rises, breathe and silently echo, "I remember." Let small choices align with the vow you made. Tidy a corner, keep a promise, rest when needed, so the mystic statement becomes a lived rhythm. In this way, your covenant doesn't float above life. It orders it from within. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. Here, the circle closes. All along, the body was waiting, blood attentive, longing for command rooted in love. Words now are not casual. They are creative force. Through parables and teaching, through practice and reverence, you have heard the ancient truth. Speak, and your blood obeys. Divine order never wavers, never fails. It flows the moment you align intention, breath, and spoken command. Your blood has been your most faithful companion, waiting through silence, through harsh words, through neglect, ready always to respond to the voice of love and wisdom. Each cell stands ready, each vessel open to receive the command that aligns with universal law. The wisdom threaded through these teachings is not new. It echoes from the depths of time, carried in the very substance of life itself. Your bloodstream knows this truth, has always known it, has waited only for you to remember and speak with authority born of love. These chapters close not in ending, but in eternal beginning. Every word you issue henceforth will either bless or diminish, and now, blessed with awareness, you are equipped to crown your blood daily with speech of peace, power, joy, and life. The power rests within your voice, within your conscious choice to speak life into the rivers of your being. Go, therefore, into every morning, whisper reverence into your bloodstream, and live as the co-creator divinely intended. This covenant is unbroken. It is eternal. It is yours. The blood that flows through you now carries the potential for perfect expression of divine law, waiting only for your word, your blessing, your conscious command.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.